Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone out in the audience here, and I'd like to introduce a new board member, Lorenzo Lassiter.
Nice to meet you.
And he wants some of this punishment too, but we sure are glad he's here. You know, we need all the help we can get and all the experience we can get. We'll get started, and we do have a quorum. And I'm going to call to order, and the quorum is established. And today's date is Monday, March 4th, 2024, and it is 1:51 p.m. Item number 2, review and take any action related to minute records of the regular meeting held on Monday, January the 8th, 2024. Anybody have any question on the minutes from those? Everything good? We need to take action. Let's vote on them. Do I hear?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There being none. Item number 3, ZBA 24-01, 124 Medina Street, single member District 4, Lucy Gonzalez, a request for a 17-foot rear setback in lieu of the required 20 feet from Section 501 for a new home at 124 Medina Street in the RS1 zoning district.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hello, Mr. Reed.
Austin Reed, Planning Technician. I'm going to be bringing 3 requests to you today. They're all very similar and come from the same applicant. This first one's for 124 Medina Street. This comes out of District 4, Lucy Gonzalez's district in the Bel Air neighborhood. It is RS1 zoning. We're looking for a 17-foot rear yard setback here instead of the 20. We mailed out 26 notifications, did not receive any responses. This lot and the other ones surrounding it were platted within the last year. This one in particular, though, has a 10-foot wide sewer easement running up and down through it. Additionally, there is no alleyway here, so we can't measure that rear property from the center of the alleyway like we can on some. We don't think that these circumstances are a result of the actions of the applicant, and granting the variance will not have an adverse effect on surrounding properties. You can kind of see the address behind it, 1207. You can't see the property lines on it yet, but that's pretty much going to be the same size and oriented to front on Luna, so those backyards are going to be adjacent to each other. Here's that site plan. You can see we're at minimum lot length, 100 feet. You can also see that 10-foot private sewer easement that I was talking about. Additionally, that measurement between the house and the rear property line is 17 foot 7 inches, so not quite a 3-foot variance, really more like 2.5 that we're looking at. Staff finds that all the necessary criteria that I just discussed are present in granting a variance. Granting the variance is in fact the minimum action that will make use of the land, is not contrary to public interest, and would carry out the spirit of the zoning ordinance. Staff is recommending approval, and with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Hey, y'all board have any questions for Mr. Reed? Doesn't look like it. That's too easy. I got to think of one question.
Jinxing us.
All right, thank you. All right, open for public comment. There being none, closed public comment is now closed. Board commentary.
Make a motion to accept as presented.
There's
I'll second it.
There's a motion to accept and a second. Any more discussion? There being none, we'll go for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There being no opposition. 6-0. Item number 4, ZBA 24-02, 1015 East 40th Street, single member district number 2, Tom Thompson, a request for a 17-foot rear setback in lieu of the required 20 feet from Section 501 for a new home at 1015 East 40th Street in the RS1 zoning. And Mr. Reed again.
Awesome. So these next two are identical. They're right next to each other off of East 40th Street. This one being for 1015 there on the right. This comes out of District 2 in the Lakeview neighborhood. It is RS1 single-family zoning. Once again, we're going to build a single-family home here. This is a request, it's the same request as the other one for a 17-foot rear yard setback instead of that 20. We did mail 7 notifications, did not receive any responses. This lot and some of the other ones on the same block were platted, I believe, in 2019. These two in particular got cut off shorter than the others because there is a drainage area that runs near and behind it. Additionally, there's no alleyway here either. There's also not much right-of-way on what's kind of a busy road, so we think that extending these homes further to the rear kind of makes sense. None of these surrounding factors are a result of actions of the applicant, and granting a variance will not really have an adverse effect on surrounding properties, like I said, just because you can't really build anything to the rear there. Here's that site layout, help you visualize it. You can see we're at minimum lot size for RS1, that's 100 by 50, and you see that 17 foot 7 inches there again. Staff finds that all the necessary criteria in granting a variance can be met. It is in fact a minimum action that will make use of the land, not contrary to public interest, and would carry out the spirit of this zoning ordinance. With that, we are recommending approval, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
Board have any questions for Mr. Reed?
Yeah, are we able to vote on these together since their lots right next to each other, or do they need to be presented individually and voted on?
Yeah, he would just need to read the other caption and do the presentation for that other case, but yeah.
Okay.
Are the applicants here, are they okay with that? Okay. Item number 5, need to read into the minutes to tie it in with item number 4, since they're side-by-side lots and it's the same request, basically. ZBA 24-03, 1013 East 40th Street, single-member district number 2, Tom Thompson. A request for a 17-foot rear setback in lieu of the required 20 feet from section 501 for a new home at 1013 East 40th Street in the RS1 zoning district. So that's 2.
Well, thank you. So all the case information pretty much remains the same, of course. We're still in District 2, Lakeview neighborhood, RS1 zoning. This time we mailed 8 notifications, did not receive any responses on this one either. We think that all the special circumstances apply to this one just as it did the other one. Maybe a little bit different because this one's actually closer and directly adjacent to that drainage, as you can see, we're in that lot there on the left. The site plan, it's the exact same as the other one, I believe. And we are recommending approval of this one as well. Yep.
That one. Being that I assume the drainage is the road-looking thing that
Yeah.
goes through and catches the side of that property line. You can still build a fence and everything on the drainage, right? The drainage is just drainage, it shows the path, right? There's
Right.
nothing the city has there for the drainage.
There is actually an easement there on the plat, I believe, for that drainage. And it'll continue to run through pretty much all the way down to the east where it connects to another road.
I think what she's asking though, can they build a fence and there's an unobstructed easement, or
Flooding insurance or anything like that that's gonna be required?
can they build a fence into there? Is that what you're asking? sir?
Yeah, so if you build a fence, if they ever wanted to put a structure in their backyard, you're cutting off their 17 whatever feet. Are we cutting off more of that because of the drainage or no?
No,
Out of
the
curiosity.
The actual plat shows the easement just to the, in this case, to the left side. If you're looking at the screen, or actually the right side of the lot there in that drainage, that is going to be a detention area over time as the properties to the south owned through the same development have that as an entire detention area. And so there may be some modifications there, but they're trying to ensure that those 2 lots are going to be protected by what they do in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Reed from the board? Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now open it for public comment. There being none, we'll close public comment. Any commentary from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve both.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, and motion to approve and a second for the item 4 and item 5. Any discussion? Being none, let's do the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There being none, passes 6-0. Item number 6, ZBA 24-05, 1905 Beatty Road, Single Member District Number 1, Tommy Hebert, request for variance to allow for a .50 floor area ratio instead of the required .40 in the RS1 Single Family Residential District at 1905 Beatty Road. Oh, Sherry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Sherry Bailey, Principal Planner. The applicant has submitted a request at 1905 Beatty Road. This is for .105 acres, District 1, Tommy Hebert's district. It's in the Nasworthy neighborhood. It's RS1 zoning. And it's a request for a variance on FAR or floor area coverage. Instead of the .40 for single family, it is .50 in this case because the lot is particularly small. And I'd like to go over that in just a moment with you. We did send out 8 notifications. On Thursday of last week, we received the one which is immediately next door, and she objected to the small lot and having a home built on that lot. And then we received one today at 1913. He also objected to the fact what he felt it was a small lot. However, from the background on this, if I could take just a minute for you, this lot came about in that time when the city owned the area, people leased the lots, and then there was the opportunity for you to purchase your lot from the city if you had been a long-term renter. And the original property owner was going to purchase this. However, this lot was particularly smaller than all of the rest of the lots. It was kind of a leftover lot, but he had been there for a long time. The city supported in 1998 and 1999, both a variance that was granted in 99 for the size of the lot, and that was for about 400 feet less than the 5,000 that is normally required. And then in 98, and I could have those turned around, or 99, they granted a variance for a front yard setback off the street, and the variance was a significant one. It was granted for 5 feet. The applicant that we have is not intending to use that variance, but he does is using the lot size variance and then asking for that lot coverage variance or the floor area ratio. So doing the analysis on this, we felt that special circumstances were peculiar to this piece of property because, as I said, it was a leftover piece of property, but the city encouraged the purchase of that piece of property. We believe that the applicant really did not have any impact on what it was. He was really just kind of left with the piece that was left over on that. We believe that granting the variance will not, in fact, have any negative effect on the surrounding property owners because a couple of the other properties in the line out there are very close to the floor area ratio or are slightly over it. So lot coverage out there is kind of the norm rather than unusual for this particular area. And staff believes that all the circumstances that we looked at supported granting the variance, and so we believe that the variance is in fact the minimum action that would allow this piece of property to be used by the property owner. And so with that, we are actually recommending that you grant the variance. And this is the house that the applicant intends to build on that piece of property. It's about 1,100 square feet on each one of the floors. It will be a 2-story house. Most of the houses out there are 2-story. Right next to this house on both sides is a 2-story. And they have the balcony on that second story, which faces out and then faces the street. But the way that the house next to it is situated, there will not be any looking over into somebody's bedroom, that kind of thing.
Will not.
Will not be an infringement on the neighbors looking into their action. And so, with that, we are again recommending approval of the request. Are there any questions?
You mentioned.
Yes.
You mentioned the other houses, properties surrounding it, that some of those actually fall over that line as well. Are any of those the opposed?
Yes, the one next door is opposed.
That's the only question.
Questions?
What exactly is floor area ratio?
When we adopted the zoning ordinance, we set a floor area ratio that in RS1, you have a larger lot coverage or a larger area that is not covered by structures on a lot. So that's the 0.40. As it moves up into duplex and triplex, you're allowed to cover more of the lot with structures, and so the lot area coverage goes up to 0.5 and then 0.6 when you get to RS3. So the intent was to keep a single-family home more distance between them and more area for family get-togethers and usable area. But we have found that that's not totally uncommon, particularly out at the lake, that we get a lot of lot coverage building out there.
So I might have not been able to read it, but on the floor plan, does it say how much distance between the structure and the property lines? Are they still in the 5 foot?
Oh, yes, they
All
are
that, then?
meeting all of the setbacks, yes.
Okay.
It's just the floor
size of
area
the house.
coverage because it's a two-story. If it was only a single-story house, it would not.
Okay,
And on a two-story, we count both floors
okay.
For
And you
floor
did-
area, footprint.
for floor area, right?
That answer my question.
Oh, and you did have a question, and I made it large so everybody could see, whether this had been to the homeowners association. It has, and it was granted.
It was approved?
It was.
The homeowner, what are the rules on the homeowners association? There's more strict than we are, or what is?
Yes, they're way more strict than we are. So even if we passed something, if HOA were to come back and say they didn't approve, then they would have that final say so.
I think most of you guys know this, but I just want to mention it since it kind of came up. Any decision that the homeowners association out there, we can't base a decision on their decision. We have no basis for that. So just want to keep that as a reminder.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any more questions for Sherry? Thank you. I will now open it up for public comment.
Hello, I'm Brian Benson. I'm owner of Clearview Custom Homes and be constructing this house here. like I said, I think it is, if not the smallest buildable lot in town, it's one of them. Still try to be very, like I said, we met all the setbacks, requirements there. Like I said, on the 2 stories where we're getting over the floor area. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
This particular lot does not have water access, correct?
It does have water access behind it. Yes, it does back up to the lake.
It goes so that boat dock is not separate?
No, the boat dock that's on there, there's not a boat dock. There's a dock area down there, but nothing there's no covered boat dock or anything like that.
Okay, but that's owned by someone else, correct?
Nope, that's owned with the local.
Which is typical out there.
Okay. Yeah, there is
It's
a,
a city property.
Right, the one that is kind of blocked, like, I noticed how you did the line of the
Can you
lot
correct?
size, and it didn't go all the way to the water. See 1905
So,
on the back?
so under that tree, that actually is where that water starts.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of coves back into that area.
But
And
that's
so-
owned by someone else, correct, that just has boat access
no,
to it?
that whole deal's owned by us.
Yeah,
That little
it does have waterfront access.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Any more questions from Mr. Benson?
Thank you guys.
I'm Daniel Valenzuela. I own the property right next to it, 1901 Beatty Road. Initially, I was concerned about the size of the property. It's kind of like a tenth of an acre. Brian and I met out there last week, took a look at where the actual structure will go. Initially, I was opposed to it. I support this project. I think it's going to be good to have that building go in there. There's some concerns that I had that I addressed with Brian as well that will be taken care of. But other than that, I think it'll be a good property going there. So again, I'm right next door, and it's a really small slither of a property. I'm kind of curious to see what the house is going to look like when it goes in there. But again, I had a good meeting with him. I'm good with this project.
Okay.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more public comment? We'll now close public comment. Any board want to talk about it?
Make a motion to approve it as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
You have a second? Stephanie? Any commentary? Talk about it? Lorenzo?
I think the only thing I say is because it's 2-story, that's why that's counting, and we're getting over our floor area ratio. So I don't have a problem with it.
No. Okay. Good. All right, I'll call for the vote. We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There being none, it passes 6-0. Good luck, Brian. Division 7, Division Report.
Well, good afternoon. My name's Aaron Vanoy. I am the Director of Planning and Development Services, so not interim or assistant. So that's just one change. We will have an update in April on the open structure overlay. We think we're going to have some more discussion about that, of how we want to deal with some of the carport structures, particularly in the MAP extension, and how that may impact some of y'all's some cases that may or may not come forward to you guys. But I should have more of an update in April on that for you, and so we'll bring an update on that. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Any questions on that? Anybody? Yeah? It's gonna be fun. Yeah? I'll be absent that day myself. Yeah. Item number 8, public comment. Issue or concerns not on the regular agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, address all comments to the dais, and begin by stating their name and address or single-member district number. Please limit all remarks to less than 3 minutes. Any public comment? Being none, next meeting agenda, item number 9, next meeting agenda is, next regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustments scheduled to begin at 1:30 PM on Monday, April the 1st, April Fool's Day, right? Is that April Fool's Day? This is a joke. You're out there kidding. We don't have it. Do we have anything? Oh, April Fool's. In the City Hall East Mezzanine Meeting Room. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Do I hear a second? There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Enzo, thank you.